The next morning, Manuel called with news that made my coffee taste like dirt. The parole board had scheduled Wang's hearing for next month, and with prison overcrowding and his clean record inside, Manuel said he had a 70% chance of getting out early. I threw my phone across the room so hard the case cracked. That night, we all met at Rania's house, and everyone was ready to put their money where their mouth was. We passed around a hat, and within 20 minutes had enough to hire a private investigator for 6 months of surveillance once Wang got released. The PI turned out to be this older guy who used to be a cop but quit in disgust after Wang's case made the news. He showed us his equipment, cameras smaller than buttons and tracking devices that could stick under cars. 3 days later, I was making dinner when Cecilia came into the kitchen and wrapped her arms around my waist. She asked why I seemed mad all the time and if it was because of her. My heart broke into 1,000 pieces as I knelt down and told her I wasn't mad at her, just at some bad things that happened to bad people. She hugged me tight and said she hoped I would feel better soon. I had to turn away so she wouldn't see me crying. Stefan texted the group chat that week with more updates from inside. Wang had gotten himself a cushy job in the prison library, where he spent all day reading law books and taking notes. Stefan said the other guards were pretty sure Wang was planning to sue the department for not protecting his identity better after he got out. The watch kept growing bigger every week. We had 25 members now, including teachers from 3 different school districts, coaches from the youth soccer league, and parents whose kids went to schools all over the county. Every single person had a story about Wang ignoring their calls for help or dismissing their concerns about their kids. One mom said Wang had told her that her son's black eye from a bully was just boys being boys. Another dad said Wang refused to file a report when his daughter's bike was stolen right off school property. Valerie worked her magic with the local paper and got them to publish an article about the unnamed officer who had nearly cost 3 girls their lives. She couldn't use Wang's name directly, but she made sure to include quotes from parents whose kids could have been the next victims if Cecilia hadn't been rescued in time. The article ran on the front page with a photo of the van they'd pulled those girls from. My neighbor saw it and asked if that was the same officer from our station. I just nodded and she shook her head in disgust. 2 weeks before the parole hearing, Wang's lawyer filed a motion claiming his client was suffering in cruel conditions in protective custody. The lawyer wanted Wang moved to minimum security, or better yet, released early on ankle monitoring so he could start rebuilding his life. I wanted to scream when I read the document Stefan photographed for us. The motion hearing was set for the following Tuesday, and I made sure to be there along with 10 other parents from the watch. We sat in the back row like a silent wall of judgment. Wang walked in wearing his orange jumpsuit and kept his eyes on the floor the whole time. He wouldn't look at us, but we made damn sure he knew we were there. Every time he shifted in his seat, one of us would shift too. When his lawyer stood up to argue about the conditions, we all leaned forward just a little bit. The judge listened to both sides for what felt like hours before finally denying the transfer request. But then he said something that made my stomach drop. He suggested Wang might benefit from a work release program to help him transition back to society. The prosecutor objected, but the judge said he'd consider it at the next review. I had to bite my tongue so hard it bled to keep from screaming in that courtroom. Blake had been talking to one of his contacts who worked in the prison and found out something that